Well, hello. Hey, friends. Let's flip over. Hello. Welcome. Hey, guys. It's another Cyberbuzz Radio. My name is Crimsonclad. Welcome to the show. And thanks for kicking it with making stuff. Another fabulous... Another fabulous episode there. Good to see you guys hopping in. Thank you for being amazing, making stuff. Thank you for being a great DJ and really interesting and making me feel about shit. I always love hanging around, and I'm always disappointed when I have to work on my own stuff for the show and don't get to pay as much attention as I'd like to Greg. So hey, hi, welcome. My name is Crimsonclad. As I said, this is Cyberbuzz Radio. Every Saturday I hang out here. I invite you guys to come hang out with me. We talk a little bit about blockchain, the retro future kind of vibe that we both love and that has taken over the world. And today I thought we'd talk a little bit about what's going on with Hive? What are these? We'll talk a little bit about that because I've been getting DMs like crazy, hella crazy. Hella crazy. And then, of course, I thought we'd talk a little bit more about some AR stuff. Hey, good to see Big Tom Stace getting some shout outs specifically because I haven't seen you guys in a while. Big love. And so I thought we'd talk a little bit more about AR. Last week, if you were hanging out here, and random internet guy, you're kicking it too. Good to see you. It's been a while. Yeah, you haven't made a show in a while. Very exciting. Good to see you, my man. Mr. D's hopping in. Hi to everybody who's joining us. So, Here's the thing. I've done another little upgrade again. I actually got the camera into HD. So we're going to see how the streaming goes. I attempted to fix some of the issues that were created by the fact that YouTube deprecated the system they were using. I have no idea if this is streaming to all the places that it needs to stream to. But yeah, so some small improvements were made, heading in the right direction. The HD cam is in because everybody was bitching about my camera. So now, if you want to see every goddamn pore on my face, you're welcome to do so. Why you would want to is beyond me, but hey. And so last week Corbin's up too. Corbin's up. Hello. So last week, if you were here, we had a lot of fun. We were talking a little bit after we kind of moved through some of our regular Hive stuff and blockchain and crypto stuff. We were talking a little bit about the VR realm, and I took you guys through more syncs. Yeah, we could talk about that for sure, random internet guy. And you know, the thing is you're saying, I wish there were more utility ways to use Hive. And the thing is, you're exactly right. They don't all exist yet. It's not because they're not possible. And that's the frustrating part. So I truly understand. But there are a lot of up and coming cool things. And since it has been a while, I don't know how sort of invested you are in the idea of crypto art. We've talked about it on this show a lot. And obviously, this is kind of a passion project for me. I do, on one hand, have kind of a soft spot for ETH. ETH was probably a more formative crypto for me than anything, in that I got into ETH just because I was excited about it, bought some really early, made decent money, flipped some of that into Bitcoin, then got reading, then ended up in Hive. And so, you know, to see sort of the directions and the mistakes that ETH are making and the things that they're doing right has been very exciting. But of course, now being so involved in the Hive ecosystem, one of my most sort of passion projects that's going on right now is, of course, NFT Showroom. And we're seeing that crypto art, and we talked about this a little bit last week, people are annoyed at crypto art. If they just don't get it, it's annoying people, and that's fascinating. But these things are starting to be seen on Hive, and Hive does have the ability to support all these use cases. We just don't have enough built yet. So I understand what you're saying, but I'm also excited for all of the possibilities. I see Bleep has joined us. Acidio has joined us. Unbelievable. Hello. That's very exciting. I haven't seen you in a long time. I hope you're doing well wherever it is you may be. So, we're going to talk a little bit about what the fuck is going on with Hive, because like I said, you did it! Yeah, I did it! And actually Swoop too, I haven't seen Swoop in a while. So listen, if I haven't said your name out, it's not because I don't love you, it's because I'm a shitty DJ. Just roll with the punches. But I do want to know if you can take a look. So people are annoyed. People are always annoyed, Big Tom. It's a thing that you learn. We'll kind of get back into that because I do want to delve into the idea of AR. Now, we talked about this a little bit, maybe even last week and some weeks previous, even on Full Force Radio. We talked a little bit about interactive filters for live streamers. And we talked about how I was given the awesome suggestion that, Inertia is unannoyed. Good. I mean, most people in here, I would like to think, are starting to really take a look at the crypto art scene and decide whether it's for them, find the positives, find the negatives, give the feedback, and if they don't like it, just chuck it in the fucking bucket. Ignore it. That's what normal people do. But we are in the crypto sphere, and normal does not apply. As long as you remember that, you'll be safe. So here's the deal. We talked about VR a little bit last week. I tested out my headset on air without, checking the settings first, which was super fun and led to me, walking around and giggling to myself in VR, trying to show you something cool, without any background noise, which it needed. But, we got there and we had a lot of fun, and we were talking sort of about personal spaces and connection and sort of possibilities with VR. And if you were there, we talked a little bit about big entities being the driving force behind creating software and hardware for everyone. We need these big entities to help us pump money into the things. VR radio when? Well, maybe. And this is something I know Making Stuff thought it was really cool too. I may end up start doing something like a VR screening room or a VR screening site where you could come in your headset and sit and, this live stream will be cast onto a wall and people can interact in VR. There's lots of things that we can do with it. So hello, Eileen. Hello, Eileen. So that's not an impossibility. And it certainly would be a really cool thing to do with the show. So yeah, it's on my mind. But this week, I thought we'd delve a little bit more into AR because AR has been coming up a lot recently, whether it's a connection to the crypto art scene or just a middle stepping stone for us to start using some of this technology in a way that is more viable than a direct leap into really pervasive VR, virtual reality. So I thought we'd jump into some of that today as well. We'll talk a little bit about Hive stuff. We'll talk a little bit about whatever you guys want to talk about. I would love to pick another newbie night, and I know many of you aren't newbies, so don't worry about none of that nonsense, but I like taking in your feedback on things like that. And we'll just kind of power through today. I got some fun music, and I've got hopefully some fun topics, and we'll see what we can see. You want to get a real close look at my pores. I mean, you could. If you're watching the video, wherever you may be watching, the Vim, the Theta, mspwaves.com, Twitch is going. I think I fixed YouTube, so somebody's going to have to go look. I mean, I can't guarantee it, but at the same time, I do suspect it might be correct. And of course, if you're watching in any of those places, please remember that everything is connected up to the Discord. So if you're worried about not getting to interact in chat, you can watch wherever you want. Type on in. We've got magical bots that will portal around your chat from wherever it is you might be watching. And we'll see. We'll see how this goes. And yes, of course, Asio talking about the ever-present and ever-pervasive downvotes. We could talk a little bit about that too, because I did notice today that the censorship argument was reopened. And this is something that I have talked about at length on this show. And it has absolutely triggered some people into... Yay! It works! Yay, YouTube! I broke YouTube with my magic. No, hey, Crypto Mechanic! I have never met you before, but I'm stoked that you're here. Sup, my man. So here's the deal. One of the things that has come around, and we often argue about this, and people have indeed left my show, left wherever, over the idea of downvotes. And that's okay. You don't have to like downvotes. But once again, I've found a lot of people are mired back in that very broad downvotes are censorship mindset. And I can't fully disagree. There is, in some ways, on some sort of pedantic level, you could make the argument that downvotes are a form of censorship if you want. It wouldn't be a strong argument. It wouldn't be a valid or accurate one, certainly in my eyes. But let's just start there with a little bit. Chat isn't bridging. Son of a biscuit. Okay, so listen. Chillin'. I'm a toaster, not a man. You're a toaster. All right, I like it. So, okay. That's fine. I fixed the connection to YouTube for the video. Chat isn't hooked up, but you know what? Now that I've got the actual connection for the video, that means I'll know which link to track down to put into my chat bot. So, you know what? Baby steps every week. I'm a terrible DJ. I'm gross. Pedantic. Are you using that word of the day, toilet paper, too? No, that's actually a word that is relevant in this particular situation. If you want to be really pedantic, if you want to pick all this crap apart, if you want to argue based solely on fiddly words that are imbued with meaning that you as a person have taken from context on your time of the blockchain, and you want to apply that very narrowly to censorship, then you can. That's being pedantic. So maybe it's toilet paper and you want to wipe your ass with my content, and that's fine. I accept that. I do not feel censored by it. But here's the deal. I saw this earlier and I thought I might make a comment here and I would get some of your guys' opinions, because somebody said in a chat, hey, no other social media has downvotes. Nobody else have downvotes that are earning adjacent or have an impact on earnings. And that's not actually true. In fact, speaking of the Speaking of the YouTube, which I fucked up solely by myself and through nothing else. Yeah, then go to that social media. That's right. We're coming back to Inertia's ad campaign, which of course was, come to Hive anyways. But the reality is that's not true. YouTube actually has downvotes. Since we're talking about it, let's just talk about it. YouTube does actually have downvotes. And you will find something really interesting in over all the year. Oh, and there you go. Downvotes on Reddit can have impact on earnings too. You're right. Downvotes are available on Reddit. I hadn't even thought about that. I'm not a big Redditor myself, which is kind of funny given sort of the history of Steam and Hive. But let's come back around to YouTube, because I think this is something that I find really fascinating. On YouTube, there are creators who are actively asking, hey, if you don't like my content, leave me a downvote. And we've spoken of this a little bit. You'd like to buy me some downvotes? Oh, yeah. We spoke about this a little bit. But what it actually comes down to is engagement is more meaningful than sort of up and down curation. And so, of course, again, we get caught up in this universe where the rewards pool is here and I'm on Hive and somebody downvotes me and it's violence and they stole all my money. But somehow YouTube, out of the crypto space, out of the sort of decentralized social media sphere, somehow creators on YouTube are saying, yeah, man, yeah, give me a downvote. If you didn't like my content, just do something. And these are creators who are relying on YouTube earnings. Downvotes do, in a small way here and there, impact your earnings on YouTube. They do. But a creator on YouTube knows, absolutely knows, that what is more valuable is that engagement. Someone probably came, watched your content for a bit, moved their mouse around, hung out on your video, and then clicked downvote. And at the end of the day, they may not have liked your content, but there's a higher likelihood they saw an ad, they did the action that is monetized, whatever. So it's fascinating that on these legacy social media, yes, Crypto Mechanic, any publicity is good. Most publicity is good. Unless you're me and you put on a VR headset and you stand around looking like a derp because no one looks cool in VR, and then stand there silently while everybody in chat screams at you. But every other little bit of publicity is good. So it's fascinating. Here is this legacy media, this legacy social media of YouTube that everybody hates, that everybody wants to get away from, that everybody's angry about, that everything they do is wrong. And yet, there is a more open mind around rewards, upvotes, downvotes, and they are sort of tied to the system in a way that isn't dissimilar on what you might see on Hive-powered social media. And yet, the attitudes between the two are wildly different. And I'm curious to know, do you think it is that different? Knowing that at the end of the day, enough downvotes on YouTube or enough negative feedback, or, should you not toe the line and carry the narrative, YouTube is centralized. You know that you could lose your channel, your money, your content, everything that you've worked for. All your followers could just go poof. And yet we still accept the fact that there are downvotes. Or looking at something powered by Hive, where even if a front end says, fuck you, and somebody downvotes you to the point where there are no pending rewards on your post, that your followers can't go away, your content can't go away, and at the end of the day, a follower could actually turn around, tip you directly, engage with you directly, use the blockchain to, support you monetarily or otherwise, without that central figure coming in between you. Where is that disconnect? Where is that strange entitlement disconnect? I don't know, but I would love to see, hey, Jean-Luc. I don't think I've ever said hi to you before, and it's my job to butcher everybody's name the first time they arrive. So hi. Had him, lost him. But yeah, so here's the deal. there's all these possibilities, and it's a really kind of fascinating thing. And I just thought, let's start with that. How do you feel about it? Now, knowing that you guys are a lot of the people that I could see watching, and knowing where you kind of are out and about checking out this content, how do you feel about this? Do you think that at the end of the day, something like downvotes is the focus that we need to be looking at right now? And I know this always comes up and everybody's sick about talking about it, but I found it so fascinating today that I kept seeing this argument of, well, nobody else has them and none of them ever impact your money. I thought, what a strange statement, because it's not the same. Yeah, he gone, had him, lost him. I will say, I'm very used to that. It's quite funny because at the end of the day, my content is fairly niche in the two shows that I do most frequently. Full Force Radio is, shit talking, foul mouth, drinking, fun time with all my buds. So we play loud music. And of course, Cyberbuzz here right now on Saturdays, for whatever time it is for you, is retrofuture, Blade Runner-esque, Hive blockchain, and other blockchain and crypto-centric topics that have kind of like this 80s kind of Blade Runner-esque vibe. And people sometimes come in and they're like, oh. And that's the end of that. It's a fascinating thing. But if you stick around, you will be rewarded. I don't know why, how, with what, or when, but you're here. All right. So, hey, Root Draws, good to see you, my man. So here's the deal. I just thought I'd bring that up first because I feel like this is an important part of us having some impact on. It is a great movie. I agree. Hey, Marky. This show, often we talk about these disruptive sorts of tech. We talk about why we love blockchain, why we love decentralization, sort of these weird emerging technologies that for us are bastions of hope, but also come with this sort of dark side, this neon noir aesthetic kind of translated into a feeling, which is, I found crypto, I found self-sovereignty, I found the ability to manage my own data and, hold on to my own followers. And I found a human readable wallet that connects me to a crazy ecosystem full of services. But I got a downvote and I hate it. And everybody's going to look at my content and it's transparent and we live in the panopticon and we're all going to die. Often that's what happens is you get excitement, and then somebody hits a wall and that's it. And I wonder, how do we create an ecosystem that remains welcoming, or at the very least helps you realize that when you hit a wall, because you're in such an ecosystem full of possibility and alternate pathways, that you can just say, hey, here's a wall, but I'm gonna go this way now. No big deal. But yeah, opening your eyes, understanding the capabilities of tech, but also saying, hey, let's take a step back and let's evaluate our own mindset. That's going to be really tricky. And many of you guys do this already. You're so used to this. Come for the money, stay for the downvotes. That's right. Crypto does a lot of this. Crypto absolutely terrifies the ever-living bejesus out of people. And, a lot of the people that stay tend to develop a certain way about them that if you get it, you're so gung-ho for it. If you don't get it, you think they're in a cult, or you think they are smarmy chads, or you think they've been deprived of oxygen or dropped on their head. It's a fascinating thing. Crypto Mechanics says they hate us because they ain't us. Fair enough, my man. Fair enough. So I think we'll we can put a pin in this, but it is something that we're going to constantly have to come back. Yeah, we said anus. You're exactly right. We're going to have to put a pin in this and come back to it. But I just thought, yeah, let's lead off with that, because sometimes we forget, because we're so used to blockchain, Hive, ETH, these sort of social ecosystems, because let's be realistic, there isn't a lot of other social ecosystems around blockchain-powered services in the same way that there is Hive. We know that. We know that Bitcoiners, and many of us are Bitcoiners, just not maxis. We know that Bitcoiners really tend to focus on financial stuff and, citadel building kind of self-sovereignty stuff. But the social aspect is mostly, I use Bitcoin and you use Bitcoin. Let's nod at each other on the way by. You're cool. And that's kind of how they go. And ETH has become a very game-centric, flash loan-centric kind of platform. Hey, FBSLO, because every week that's what it's going to be. It's never going to get old. You're going to join the stream every week, and I'm going to at you every week. So Hive does represent something different. And we've talked at length for like 3 years on this show about these changing ideas and these changing sort of expectations. And it certainly is, in general, content creator entitlement is a thing. And this is something that I don't know how we get around. Acid Hives, what up? Hello. Acid Hives. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's Acid Yo. Duh. I thought you were someone else. But you did level up, so I will take a shot. So Crypto Mechanic is obviously Crypto Dude, because he's talking about Cardano, ADA, Love, Lace. These are not my areas of expertise, I must say. But no, it's not. It's just coincidence. And Marky's got a cool little Among Us 3D print there, which is super cute. I don't know how many of you guys are playing Among Us or even know what that is or even care. But I will take a shot for Acid Yo because I feel like I won't get a shot any other way today unless I count my theta levels up. So, cheers to you, my dude. I have to go today. And get a COVID test. Skål! Yeah, helken, gelken. I have to go today and get a COVID test. And I'm wondering if I have enough alcohol, will I clean my nasal passage or my throat? I don't know. I don't know. Did you visit Trump or something? No. I give no shits about Trump. No, the reason that I have to go today is I was exposed to someone who was exposed to someone who was asymptomatic. And it's unfortunate, but here's the deal. So I know Fox is going to yell at me and everyone else is going to yell at me, but there's a couple of reasons that I'm going in for testing because we're on it now. I don't want to comply with contact tracing. I do not want to have an app on my phone. I do not want to have my location tracked. And I go to certain pains to kind of, how exactly did you expose yourself? Well, the reality is, yes, see, here it is. Here's the face. He's going to yell at me. But the reality is I know I was in close contact with someone who was in close contact with someone who was asymptomatic, who has tested positive. I'm right in the range of where I would be most icky, most gooby. So the reality for me is I will not be complying with any contact tracing. I don't want to deal with that. But what that does mean is I have a responsibility to kind of keep an eye on whether or not I would be a vector for spreading. And so while I'm not going to, Jesus Christ, everybody else is talking about exposure now. But what that means for me personally is while I'm not going to be providing this information to anyone who wants to know about it, I have to take some personal responsibility about whether I could potentially start spreading. And so it's as simple as I work in a workplace where everyone is still in the office. I work in a workplace where we are sharing facilities. We don't want to sit around at the office with masks on. We don't play into any of that bullshit. And I also have somebody, let us know if you start spreading. I will. I will. But I also have somebody in my family who is immunocompromised. And you guys know that. Stick Champion. Hello, my man. It's so good to see you. Lots of people hopping in all over the place. Glad to see you watching and hanging out now. So the reality is long story short, don't want to accidentally kill my mom. And I hate to tell it, but all of you guys, because you're hanging out with me here now, you probably have COVID. So, Merry Halloween. Hey, Lax. Merry Halloween. I gave you the Spunky Disease, Spooky Scary Skeleton 10-hour remix. Stay in your house. By the time you get through it 15 times, then you'll be out of the contagious period. But yes, so I will be driving through a place and I will be letting someone, shh, Corbin, shh, quiet. I COVID you. So I will be letting someone probe my nose, which is gross. And, you know, I regret saying on air because it's going to come back to haunt me. But yeah, apparently somebody's going to stick a whole bunch of, like, I don't know how this works. I'm not looking up the videos of it because I don't want to know. But I saw it was nose and throat. Like, do they swab your nose? I hope they swab my throat before my nose. Maybe 2 different swabs. I really don't want them to put something in my nose and then directly into my mouth. Forget about it. I'll keep you guys updated. If I will say one thing before we kind of move on. Crim 19. Better than a blood test. Yeah, sure. But the reality is I'll keep you guys posted. The one small benefit is if I do have it and I have to stay at home, I'll just stream full time. It'll be great. I'll play games. You can watch the slow deterioration of my exterior and interior as I go even more mental. It'll be delightful. We'll just have like a 24-hour Crim COVID stream, and you guys will see unspeakable things, and you'll give up on every blockchain that I've ever mentioned, and you'll never listen to synthwave again. And that'll be that. It'll be great. Win-win. Inertia's saying they should swab Murphy. Gotta go. Keep up the channel. Yeah, okay. So Crypto Mechanic, come hang out. I would love to see you around Hive, and I would love to learn more about your content too. So if you are around and I don't die from COVID, it's a date. All right, so while we continue on, let's come back to some Hive stuff. And I'm just watching more people joining. Hi, hello. I hope you have COVID, Crim. Romance. You guys all are gonna wish COVID upon me. And you know what? If it happens, it happens. I'm not scared about it. I'm not worried about it. Of course, again, I just want to make sure that whatever happens, that I'm responsible and that I don't continue a chain and kill somebody else. That would be shitty. It's the exact same thing as if I had any other communicable disease. It's just what you do. So the reality is you could freak out. I can never leave my house. I can wear a mask. I can put a stupid app on my phone. I can be traced. And, you know, all of us are not into that. If you've just come out of Making Stuff show right before this, if Crim has COVID, it's bullish for Hive. Oh, gosh. Maybe just stop licking people in the face. Also good advice, Corbin. I could just stop licking people in the face. That's true. That would go a long way. Don't lick any more eyeballs. But the reality is many of us, we already don't want our phone, location data on. We don't want to download an app that the government says, put this on your phone. We are already trying to find ways to opt out. We want to, who wants COVID? I'll cough in your DMs. And Big Tom says, if we just downvote COVID, it will go away. Yeah, see, you guys are ready. Bleep has prepared a remedy for me. I'm definitely concerned. I'm concerned. I thought that if I just drink enough black coffee and whiskey that COVID will give up. It'll just fucking give up. So I'll keep you guys posted, and I'll also let you know how absolutely terrible it is to have somebody who's probably not super duper medical trained touch my brain with a swab. I'll let you know. So let's circle back around. We've gone a little bit off track. Let's circle back around. Let's talk a little bit about some Hive stuff, because I know many people are freaking the ever living fuck out of this whole thing. And certainly it's been a bumpy road. We've got some stuff to talk about. I am all I've had today is like 6 gummy bears and some scotch. I wish maybe I'd be in better shape. I'm telling you guys. Now, for those of you who are watching the video, can you tell it's in HG? Can you tell that I've fixed the camera a little bit and, done some stuff and got some lighting? Marky, I'll have you know that the plant on my casting couch is now hung from the ceiling. I told you I'd get time. There it is. No longer on my casting couch. Plant. So, bone broth. Yeah, absolutely. I make bone broth. It's delicious. Doesn't look... Okay, it's not 60 FPFs. I can't I can't win with you people. Blame the station. So here's the deal. Hive, if you've been using Hive services the last week, things have been probably a little ookie pants for you. And that is both fair and true. Certainly, one thing that we have seen and one thing that we probably really didn't do a good job with, it's not 5K. I'm sorry. It's not it's not in AR. You can't smell me, nor can you actually get my COVID. I apologize. I'm not using the technology as well as I could be. But here's the deal. Hive this week and Hive services have been, it's not going to work, Ron, have been hinky as fuck. Hinky as fuck. And so where is this coming from? Why has this happened? And if you notice somebody else struggling with it, how can you help? Many of you guys already know the answers, but I thought I'd throw them out there anyways. One of the things that is happening in this hard fork, and if you've been here for one of the previous shows, you may remember, is that HiveMind, which is not the actual blockchain itself, but HiveMind, which is the sort of database second layer structure that we have running on some RPC nodes, API for websites, is being rebuilt from the ground up. Now, a lot of that sounds like API, LOL, LSD, FUCK, whatever. That means nothing to you. But what it does mean in this case is that services that use these API to query the blockchain, to put information in and out, that they're sort of the middleman for websites. Services that are using HiveMind nodes normally are spread out among a number of RPC nodes. There are lots of HiveMind nodes running, and it's no big deal. Everybody gets to choose the node that works for them. A-OK, A++, bingo, bango, bongo. This week has been a little problematic in that apparently COVID is turning the frogs Chinese. That is also very problematic. This week has been problematic in that a lot of node operators and the major node operators are getting ready to make sure that they've got a running Eclipse, which is the new hard fork, a running new hard fork, new version of HiveMind on their nodes. Why are we having problems then? Well, the answer is thusly. When you are spinning up a new node, when you are changing a software version on a node, essentially you have to replay it. I mean, it's not always the case, but especially right now. Why is Marky destroying the nodes? Marky is not. Marky is a very helpful man. In this case, with so many things changing and with so many people now getting ready to have one of these nodes or changing over their old nodes, everyone is replaying at once. Well, the node that's replaying isn't actually handling transactions. And so what that means is when you go to a service and you're saying, hey there node, help me out, and you use a front end, that front end goes to one of these RPC nodes and they're not working. They're replaying. They're just not doing their thing. And that is problematic. That's very problematic in that the nodes that are left, that are up, that are working, whether they're not HiveMind or whether they are up and running or not, there's not very many of them. And so you have to picture all of the traffic that's spread out over all of the nodes forever and ever, amen, is now hammering a couple of the few nodes that are up. Now, the other problem that we have, which I suspect we're going to see a little bit more, we're going to see a little bit more of, is things like, say, ActiveFit. There were some front ends, and there are some front ends right now that you may find when you broadcast a transaction say, oh, no, nope, it's wrong. No dice, wrong. And so the problem becomes that they actually had to upgrade their libraries. They thought they had, but they hadn't upgraded to the newest. So if you were using ActiveFit and you were finding a bunch of broadcast problems, if you were finding you were using a front end and it was saying, yep, this is totally deprecated, it's no good. And that front end actually has to do a little bit more work to get ready. A little bit more. Yeah, it's not how you understand versioning traditionally, Ron, but it is basically nothing about the way that this particular hard fork is standard. Ah, there, see, there's inertia jumping in and saying the same thing. Nothing we do is standard. Welcome to Hive. And, welcome to development in general. There isn't really a standardization. The whole thing is you create a standardization, which is why 1.24 point whatever is where we're at. Now, we've touched on that Hive stuff. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about that is Hive related? If there is, let me know. I know some of you aren't able to chat, especially the YouTubers. I'm a big jerk and I apologize in advance. But are there any questions, comments, stuff that you want to talk about? What happens if some of the top 20 do not update in time? They fall out of the top 20. Great question, Solo. No. So what happens at a hard fork? And we've talked about this a little bit before. What happens with a hard fork is if you are upgraded to the new software, inside that software is a time. Will 1.25 be the fun hard fork? Jesus Christ, I hope so. Hey, Jay Ben, what up? What up? When a hard fork happens, there's a time set within the hard fork. And so we don't have a block height. We talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago. The way that Hive hard forks works, it's not a block height. We're not waiting for a specific block number. We're waiting for a timestamp. What happens is when that timestamp is hit, let's call it at 10 a.m. Leonis is dead, apparently. I'm sorry, I killed you with my corona. When we hit that timestamp, anybody running the new software is considered a vote for the new software. So anybody in the top 20 who's running the new version, Eclipse, after 10 a.m. on the hard fork day, they are considered a vote in support of the hard fork. Somebody who's not upgraded in the top 20 that hasn't upgraded and is still in the top 20, depending on how many votes there are for the hard fork. If we haven't hit a supermajority yet, then the hard fork doesn't actually happen. So let's say 10 of the top 20 are running Eclipse on the day of the hard fork. The date and time comes, and still only 10 top 20 witnesses are running hard fork 24. What happens? Great question. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because we haven't hit a supermajority yet, and that's the way that Hive works. Now, why is that? Why is that the case? And this is where governance and sort of the community come into play. There's a couple of different things that can happen here. The community can say, hey, we want this hard fork to go through. Those 10 other people who are not running the new hard fork, fuck them. We're going to vote them out, and we're going to vote people running 24 in, and we're going to get this hard fork through. That's one way. Or it may be the rest of the community goes, ooh, only 10 people are running the new hard fork. We don't want it to go through. We are going to vote out those people. And so unless there is a consensus among the consensus witnesses, the code that is active within that hard fork doesn't actually start executing. If you are already running the new code after the time frame, but there isn't a supermajority, then you continue on. You're still doing your thing. You're still doing everything the same way. We just don't move ahead until there's a supermajority. Now, whatever that looks like, whether it's a supermajority for the new code or some shuffles in the witness ranks to move back to the original, to not execute the hard fork, is up to the community, up to the voters. And it's one of the ways that we can kind of have a little bit of input into what's going on. Now, with that being said, yeah, Marky is exactly right. The hard fork could happen a year from now. The hard fork date could absolutely be October 6th at 10 a.m. That's absolutely it. But if, when the hard fork date comes, not enough people are running the new code, we aren't on the new hard fork yet. So the date comes, but we haven't actually started executing the new code. It might take 2 more days for everybody to be updated. It might take 3 more days. It might take a year, is what Marky is suggesting. Now, that's obviously not going to be the case, but this is a good thing to remember in that the hard fork date is when voting on the new hard fork. It's the soonest it can happen. So on October 6th at 10 a.m., if we don't have 17 out of 21 witnesses running the new hard fork, then for every single block after that date, every single block or every single block production round, let's say, is a new vote. In that block production round, did a supermajority of those 21 witnesses run the new code? Nope. No hard fork yet. Next block production round. Did 17 of these 21 run the new code? Nope. No hard fork yet. It's fascinating. It's weird. It's something that's often really confusing for people. And given how many listeners I've hemorrhaged out of the Discord, it's probably not that interesting. But if you're someone who's been around Hive, if you're somebody anti-socialist, if you're somebody who's wanting to learn more about the way that our governance system wasn't very satisfying, was it? The way our governance system works, the way that Hive works, the way that we're a little different from other blockchains. This is some cool information that may be valuable to you. So, looks like Acidio is going to tag me for a level here today. Because I had a problem with that the other day. All right, so let's take a quick break from this. Let's have a palate cleanser. I'm going to play a quick track for you guys. When we come back, I want to start moving a little bit more towards the AR side of things. I want to talk a little bit about augmented reality, and we'll kind of talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. We'll do the whole thing. I'm going to play something by a literal palate cleanser. Yeah. Oh my God, Ron. Fuck my life. Is that almost all the way full? Ron's going to get me. All right. So let's, oh, no, it's not. You know what? I see. When we kind of get to the point of no return, it just stays there. All of us can't actually tell. Fuck. All right. So listen. My name is Crimsonclad. This is Cyberbuzz Radio. Every Saturday I hang out here. You guys can find me talking about Hive, blockchain, disruptive technology, AR, VR, synthwave, the retrofuture. Whatever the case may be. I used to be number one, and then I dropped right off. I suck now. Ron and Julia are like the master overlords of the server. T-Trank. Yeah, basically. So here's the deal. You guys are always welcome. If you guys want to see specific shows, specific topics, if you guys are looking for guests, or you yourself just want to come on air and talk about something, that's also allowed. I'm kind of in the background arranging. I want to have a day where I'm talking about some of the people who are making games on and off Hive. I want to talk a little bit to people who both play and develop blockchain games. And I want to talk a little bit more about what is it that we could be doing? To take better advantage of Hive? Because I was speaking with, Enjar was in the conversation, but we were speaking with somebody in general who's been making a game and has not been sharing it on the blockchain and didn't actually plan for any blockchain integration. And the more we got having this discussion, the more we started thinking and talking about this, the more we realized most parts of a game don't have to be connected to the blockchain. Assets being kept on the blockchain, great, cool, no problem. But if you're making a totally different game, there's still stuff that could be done. And he actually started thinking about, well, what about just keeping high scores and leaderboards? What about, and from there, it kind of spiraled. And so I thought we might have some fun talking about this and maybe even bringing in sort of game developers or game players from outside the ecosystem. So I'm trying to put that show together for the next little bit, but doesn't matter. We're going to continue on. I'm going to play a quick track for you guys. I want to play something by Cassetter. And I don't think I've played it on the show before. I want to play something that came off an album that came out in July. So give me a quick second here. I'm going to play a track called Come to Life. My name is Crimsonclad. This is Cyberbuzz Radio. Wherever you may be watching, you can find me on Twitch, YouTube. I'm trying to get on Vim TV, but I'm trying to figure out how it doesn't make me 1,000 shit posts. But most importantly, at mspwaves.com. This is not the right song. What the fuck? Worst! go. Cassetter, chick named Casey Diamond. You know, yesterday was Bandcamp Friday, so I have buttloads of new music to go through to share with you guys. I'm very excited. And one of the things that I really want to push is Occam's Laser put out a new album, and it's very similar to Carpenter Brute, but like going even further, and that is very cool for me, I think. It's a giant bug on my, what are you? It's like a leaf bug or a stink bug. What are you? Oop. It's crawling around. Well, I don't know where the bug went. I was going to show you guys the bug. Hey, so here's the deal. And I see Julia is hanging now finally too. Oh no, she's not. But she's actually just seeing if she can, if she can get it. Oh, there you go. Okay, so hold on. T profile will let us know. Will it let us know? Let's just see. Yeah, there's the level. Okay, Julia knows what's up. Okay, so anyways, listen, hey, welcome back. My name is Crimsonclad. This is Cyberbuzz Radio. I was just playing you guys a little bit of synthwave. And, you know, one of the things that we were just discussing was, in the chat anyways, was talking a little bit about these RPC nodes. Now, we started off the show talking about this, and I see Clay has joined us. Hi. And I see Define the Dollar, his dudeness, has joined us. Hello. I saw Acid asked about my headset, and I don't super know how to get, oh God, like trying to get myself in here. There you go. It is the Audio Technica ATH G1WL. I don't know. It's a gaming headset from Audio Technica. It's nice. I like it. I don't have a lot of opinions. I didn't just ignore you. I pay attention to all of my listeners, every single one of you, unless you are typing in the YouTube live chat, in which case today I'm not seeing you. But yeah, so here it is. That's the headset that I'm using. It's pretty good. It's wireless. I don't love it because I can't use it for everything, but it stays here at my desk, and when I am playing, it's got a little plug-in microphone and a doodle if I need it, so I can look like a real cool operator. But yeah, it's a good headset. Sound is good. You know, therefore, so forth. Go on. Vis-a-vis. Ergo. So what everybody was talking in chat was we were coming back to the RPC nodes. And we talked about this at the beginning of the show. It was kind of the first half hour to 45 minutes of the show. We were talking about what are the problems with Hive right now? And we were also discussing a little bit about content creator entitlement stretching across multiple platforms and sort of how do we attack that from a crypto-centric mindset. But one of the things that everybody's asking is, hey, what are some nodes that are working? NEX is working quite well. Fearsome, Deathwing, GTG's got his up, so that is the openhive.chat. Now, just remember, openhive.chat, he's got an openhive node as well. But one of the things to remember is that depending on the front end that you're using and depending on the method that you're using to broadcast and sign transactions, you may find that certain node and certain library combinations are not they're not having a good time right now. So one thing that I can recommend, if you are having problems or if someone else is having problems, here's some stuff you can recommend. Right now, Hiveblog is also having 502 errors, which is basically timeouts. And a lot of people are freaking out because they think this is the blockchain. That's actually not true. If you get an error that doesn't have to do with signing a broadcast, well, it's not about missed blocks so much, his dudeness. It's about actually contacting an RPC node. And we talked about this a little bit before. Well, you weren't here. You missed it. But the some of the things to try in this case, especially if you do get the 502 error, hey, digging deeper, is clear your cache, clear your cookies. Now, this sounds stupid and frustrating, and it might be, but one thing that we have discovered, especially with Hiveblog, is that Cloudflare is freaking its shit. And so if you're constantly having timeout errors, or you're constantly having gateway or 502 or Cloudflare errors, clear your cookies and your cache. There are two cookies that seem to be, when they're in conjunction, will fuck up Hiveblog for you right now. Everybody's trying to work on it, but just if you run into this issue or someone else does, give them this recommendation because it may help them out and it may prevent them from tearing their hair out. Of course, you've got multiple interfaces, but one last thing to keep in mind is that Keychain right now, depending on the node that you pick and sort of depending on what's going on, Keychain is having some trouble. So if you find that you're super frustrated, I would recommend giving it a shot with Peak D's Peak Lock. Now, Peak Lock won't be for everyone, but if you're in a pinch, you need to get something done. Logging into Peak D with Peak Lock is very similar to what Keychain does. Peak Lock, Hive Signer, honestly, I mean, I love everybody behind it and I love the idea of it, but it's hot garbage. So forget Hive Signer. But Peak Lock is a similar sort of issue in that what they do is they let you create a little password and they keep your keys locally. I wouldn't use this with anything else, but with your posting key to get something done, something done. Oh, it's your only option on mobile. Peak Lock is available on mobile, his dudeness. So give that a shot. And the reality is you can still keep your key local. Save it, not broadcasting in your browser using Peak Lock. You may find that doing that and bypassing Keychain will make things a little easier for you. So Peacock, Peacock, Peak Dock, Smeekmock, whatever. I'm just saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. So we're at the halfway point in the show, and I know Julia's not listening, which is too bad, but Clay is here and Acid is here and many of the other sort of artistic crew is here. I thought this week Peak Lock won't sign Hive Engine transactions, but Peak D, depending on what you need to do, actually has a lot of Hive Engine token options. I guess it really depends what you're doing. But where is here? It's a good question. It is a good question. I don't know. Wherever you are in the space-time continuum right now watching this show. Whatever. Listen, I wanted to talk a little bit about augmented reality. Now, augmented reality and virtual reality are two different things, and we kind of treat them as the same thing, but I've been following a lot of publications and a lot of crypto sort of enthusiasts recently talking about all of the realities, every reality, and the fact that we're living in the darkest timeline right now. I mean, I think we can all agree, right? Because who had Trump got the Rona on their bingo card? At this point, I'm actually both a little bit shocked and a little bit terrified about what potentially could come next. And I will say, I don't have a lot of opinions on US politics. I hate politicians in general, and I am looking for ways to opt myself out of the system, but also make the best choices for me. And I'm in a country with fucked up government too. So, let's not go down that road. But one thing that I really have to say and underline certainly is that it was me that gave Trump the Rona. First of all, yes, agreed. But secondly, God, nobody sound clip that or I'm going to get like a fucking Black Ops squad just smashing through this window here. You guys are going to see a shower of glass and somebody's going to throw a bag on my head and I'm going to get dragged out. So let's pretend I didn't say that. But one thing that I have to say is, how did we get here? I know this is a question we're all asking, but this specific here right now, Clay is asking where here is. How did we get to a place where when the president says he has COVID, which is a pretty logical thing, he's traveling the world, he's meeting a lot of people, he's constantly on the go, he's, kissing babies, he's having rallies, he's shaking hands. It's actually expected. I'm pretty sure my prime minister got it or his wife did. I don't fucking know. I don't care. That's the normal part. How did we get to this world where everyone coming up to and takes zero precautions? Yes, true. How did we get to a world where everyone approaching this was saying Biden or Trump are going to get it and they're going to lie about it and they're going to and it's going to be used as a tool to manipulate the elections. They're going to get fake COVID, and then they're not going to have to do any more debates, or they're going to get the debates, but everybody's going to feel sorry for them. And then it happened, and he got it. And now we've got half the world saying, well, he got it because he wants to fake it, and he's going to, be super robust and get better in 5 days, and that'll be used as a da-da-da-da. Or nobody believes that he has it, and everyone believes that he does have it, but he manufactured it, and everybody believes that he does have it, but he got it strategically to impact the What is going on? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah, here's Marky. And in fact, if you're here and you're watching this today, go to Marky's poll and vote on it. I can't believe that we're having this discussion. But it is. It's because everybody lies. And I have to agree. Ron is right. Trump actually did this to distract from the Hive hard fork is what has happened. But this boggles my mind. We are literally in a world where nobody, I'm not saying wrong. I'm not going to say it again. You recorded it the first time, and you actually recorded kind of a gross version of it. Yes, he's secretly part of the Hive cabal. Yeah, see there's the Ron. Ron was right. He loves it. I have no problem admitting other people are right, and I have no problem admitting I'm wrong, especially because everybody watches it happen live, and I don't have the power of persuasion to convince you didn't see a thing that you saw. There's no going back and lying about the dumb shit I do live on air and talk with you guys about. But for all intents and purposes, what the fuck is going on? Get your shit together. How is it we have absolutely no idea in the middle of a global pandemic where everyone is getting sick? We can't figure out if this guy's sick or not. Or if he did, we can't figure out why. Why do we care? I don't know. 2020 is so 2020. Thank you, Marky. So Corbin just leveled up. I have to drink again. How many am I at now? I think this is only number 2 for the day. This is fine. I will be interested to see if this impacts. Can you imagine? I'm going to have to drive through a COVID testing site smelling of bourbon. What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? Okay, so I'll let you know how that goes in case they turn away intoxicated people. But I had to throw that out there. And Clay drank a coffee, but I had to throw that out there. How did we get here? How did we get here? Fuck. I don't know. I feel like we have to have a moment of silence for just any hope that 2020 will not be even more confusing and bizarre. But it's an interesting topic that I don't want to talk about. Do you have a Kickstarter for your DUI bail? Do you really think that somebody at a COVID drive-through test would narc on me? That's uncool. You suck. Just stick this thing up my nose and be done with it. Let's continue moving forward. I wanted to talk about AR and VR. Now, last week, I walked you guys through my sort of little VR space. Let's see. Oh, Inertia says he still has to say he is the Rona 19 more times before the media will believe him. You're right. And you know what? Nobody's actually fact-checked it yet. How come Twitter hasn't come up with a little thing saying, well, Trump may not have the Rona because and it'll just be, I don't know. But didn't he say that virtually nobody gets it? You know what? It's fine. And actually, another thing that apparently is going around social media is Twitter has said they will remove anyone or anything that says and wishes death upon President Trump or anyone else. That was their statement. We will remove death threats against anyone. However, apparently, it really only means if you wish Trump dies of corona. That's it. So Trump is virtually nobody, I guess. All right. This is Clown World. Come to Clown World. Come to Under the Influence. Come on Mondays. This is our full Monday schedule. If you didn't realize, we do have a new DJ. Battle Axe has started a show here and is at a much better time So, between Battle Axe and the Clown, you can get your fill of this stuff. Come hang out on Mondays. Of course, we have a wide variety of shows. Come check out mspwaves.com. Find the whole schedule. Find all the DJs. Find people who aren't me who will keep you entertained. Huge fan. Oh, gosh. I love it. I love all of this. So VR and AR. Last week, I showed you guys just some of these sort of built-in VR features and some of the stuff that I've found has been pretty enjoyable, knowing that right now, got all the time in the world to explore VR spaces, have all the time in the world to consider sort of our digital lifestyles and to start looking at things that we take out of this reality and move into a digital reality. And I was showing you guys around my little sort of home base that I launch my games from and things like that. But this week, I thought we would talk a little bit more. Only Crim could simp Trump. I don't know that that's true. I have a very narrow window of simpery. I don't have a lot of simps, but the ones I do seem very enthusiastic and kind. So, that's cool, right? That's cool. Also, does that mean you're calling me mediocre pussy? That's also probably, that's cool. Also, I've been called worse on this show. Let's move back to AR. So augmented reality is where, in most cases, technology overlays something on the world around you. And we talk about this, what is that? A sucker for mediocre what? I don't know. I'm not sure what the D is supposed to be. But AR is where technology... I'm never going to live this down. I don't know. I don't have a dick. AR is where technology overlays something on the world around you. That's the sort of baseline for AR. Augmented reality. You are living in the current world as it is. You're interacting with technology, and through this portal of technology, there are changes, augmentations to the world around you. And the reason that I bring this up is because, as we were mentioning early in the show, AR is probably a really good step. Jeez, look at all this bullshit that's going on. We're lost apparently in the depths of VR pussy. Pushy. But listen, you guys, bring it back, focus, come back around. God, my God. AR, augmented reality. One of the reasons that this is coming up a lot right now, we're officially off the rails. It actually took us a lot longer than normal. We're like an hour into the show, and we just hit the fuckery quite hard now. So go team, actually, all considered. And I'm not recording this, so I'll have to pull it down off of YouTube or something to get it later. Probably for the best. AR, in the crypto space especially, we're constantly talking about pats for everybody's backs, pats for your backs, pats for your bums, a locker room slap on the way by. Take what you need, leave the rest. Augmented reality in the crypto space have a lot of crossover, especially right now. You have a crypto space that is suddenly exploding with the idea of peer-to-peer interaction, art, connection, and value beyond just the numbers in the ledger. Now, when we started and when, people started getting going with Bitcoin was the ability to cut out the middleman, was the ability to be your own bank, and it still is the ability to have a clear, simplistic, hard money ledger. And that's true. All of that is true. I really want to know why nobody brags about having big pussy energy. Because stop and think about the logistics of a big pussy. Just, Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I hit the button on my microphone. So you guys are watching me and I'm gesticulating wildly. This is what happens every now and again. I'm a hand talker. And right here, the big pussy energy killed the mic. It's true. If you wonder what happened there, right here is my Yeti mic. And when I gesticulate wildly, sometimes I accidentally speed bag the microphone. And it's very unfortunate for you guys. Apologies. I turned myself off using... My bad. Okay, so we're back. I speed bag my microphone. I teabag my microphone while talking about big pussy energy. Let's Yeah, the takedown team from the White House finally arrived. I was saying that accurate, Inertia, really actually accurate. I was saying that big pussy energy sounds great until you actually think about it in sort of a spatial sense. In which case, when you start thinking about big pussy energy in a physical manner, then it starts getting a little, I don't know if you're talking about, this is what I was gesticulating about. Like, is it big flaps? Is it a big cavern? Whatever might be going on with your big pussy energy, as soon as you start really visualizing it in a physical sense, you kind of just go, yeah, you know what? No, it's okay. Don't worry about big pussy energy. How many plants do I have in here? Good question. I have, I can't show you all of them, but yeah, it doesn't sound so great, right? See, it doesn't sound so great when you start thinking about it. I got the one behind me. I got this guy over here. I can't turn my camera enough to show you the rest of them. I got that guy back there. What's that? That's 3. I have this guy on my desk who's very beautiful. This isn't even a technology show anymore. This isn't a tech show or a synthwave show, but we're going to do it. We're going to go through all my fucking plants because you guys are nosy. BPE is no longer big pussy energy. It's big plant energy. I'm propagating a fiddle leaf fig. I have another wandering Jew. Don't cancel me. Here's another cane. So these guys live on my desk. And then over there, I have a larger fiddle leaf fig, and I have a ZZ plant, which I don't call a ZZ plant because that's stupid. Fuck you, Canada. Okay? Are we good? Have we done the plant count-off? The countdown? No more. No more. I don't mind. When we derail, we have fun. But it's like, how long do you want me just hanging out here? Like, just standing around talking to you while holding plants. We could do this. We could have the whole show. I could be petting a plant like a cat. Like an evil villain. So coming back to AR, discussing AR some more. Augmented reality, crypto and the cryptosphere. We were just discussing how Bitcoiners especially, when you were thinking about the possibilities of Bitcoin, when we were talking about the possibilities of the blockchain, when you were talking about the possibilities of the cryptosphere, it was the idea of self-sovereignty, trusting, verifying, and having a decentralized ledger where nobody could fuck with the wealth that you put aside in a scarce asset, a hard money alternative. And that was fine. But the crypto space, and obviously whether it's with Hive, with ETH, and with any other blockchain, it's changed. We have a much bigger focus now, and we have the ability to start applying these ideas above and beyond just the transfer of pure monetary value. Very cool. So AR, in this case, you have a fucking contract. You have 45 minutes left. Okay. You have way more plants than Crim. Fuck you. Private sources confirm Trump has no plants. And Inertia says one is the biggest bogus bocutus. That's an amazing. Yeah, we could have plant NFTs. There you go. I could be propagating my special beautiful plant and issuing an NFT to you when I root a piece of it and send it to you. And you would have the NFT, and we could transfer around a beautiful plant around the world and track its journey as it grows until one of you fuckers kills it and we got to burn it. Please let me get through my original statement. The original statement was going to be, augmented reality is a way of visualizing some of the relationships and some of the possibilities of blockchain technology. What the fuck am I talking about? The crypto art space is exemplifying this. I'm sorry that my camera's going insane. Jesus Christ. Everything is vibrating because everybody's inviting me to go play Warzone now. So here's the deal. Crypto art is starting to experiment very frequently with augmented reality. And you're starting to see some really fascinating pieces of work. And in a lot of cases, they're tied to something physical. So the augmented reality goes beyond what you're seeing just on your screen. And in this case, what we're seeing in the crypto art space, and what I hope to see potentially somebody using Hive for, is the idea of a physical piece of art that, when is viewed through a piece of technology, whether it's your phone, whether it's a tablet, the art actually moves, changes, is 3D, moves out into the space. And we're seeing a lot of this. You guys may remember not that long ago, I feel stupid holding this plant. It's going away. I feel stupider than normal holding this plant. So one thing you guys may have noticed is there was recently an ETH transaction for a piece of art that there's a couple different things. There's one that changes depending on the price of Bitcoin. But there are some others that when you view them through a lens, through your phone, through a tablet, through a screen, they actually expand, move, animate outside of the frame and into your reality. It's fascinating and it's so cool. And we're starting to see more of this. Now, what's augmented reality that we're used to beyond, say, the crypto space? What's an example of augmented reality that we already accept? And I hate to say it, but one of them is something like Pokemon Go. You hold up your phone, you walk around. Have you seen this? Because I see this in the park by me still, to this day, all the time. What does crypto finally art do? I don't know. Gets people talking, which is pretty important. But yeah, Pokemon. I still see these fucking nerds, and admittedly it looks fun. I see them gathering out in the park near me. I'll always know when there's some Pokemon bullshit because all these cars will jump out. All these people will jump out. They'll, interact. They'll hang out. They'll hold up their phones. There'll be a bunch of and they'll jump in their cars and they're gone again. What the fuck? What the fuck was that? And it was a bunch of people driving around in the real world catching little virtual Pokemon on their phone. And so one of the things this week that I was taking a look at is knowing that this is a viable gateway, that people who are interested in the games and the possibilities of AR, augmented reality, knowing that people have already welcomed this into their lives. What's another good example? Snapchat. Fucking Snapchat. What about filters? When you start thinking about what are the things that we do that watch us and alter reality as we know it. Filters, man. People love fucking filters on their phone. That's the same thing. And we were talking about this a little bit last week. That's augmented reality. We've already adopted this technology. We love it. Let's put a frame on. TikTok. You do a TikTok dance where, you do like a fucking dab or whatever and lightning bolts shoot out of your fingers. Because we have this technology where a camera and facial and body recognition exists. Now, we won't go down the dark path of that, but it exists. It can tell roughly. Hand tracking exists, and you're starting to find it more in VR applications. And you're starting to find more AR-style games where your hands are being tracked. They're used as the way that you move, the way that you interact with the environment, but also how AR is projected on the world around you. It's very cool. It's very interesting. We know yeah, Google Lens is a type of AR as well. And if you've never seen that, Google Lens can actually also it can also translate text in real time. So there's an actual function where you can hover over, say, a sign in another language, and it'll be there on the wall, and in the same similar fonts and colors, it will translate it to your language for you. That's all AR. So knowing that this is something we've already embraced, we already have these tracking, these analyzing technologies, how does that play into people accepting crypto more? And the answer is crypto art. Crypto art is a great idea. What if your NFT, when you print it or when you own it or whatever the case may be, what if you start viewing it with your cool glasses like Inertia has there? And all of a sudden, what you start seeing is movement, color, change, interaction with your world based on, I don't know what. But start pairing that with NFTs. What if you're not the NFT owner? You can't unlock the extra augmentations that this piece has. There's some really fascinating ideas behind this. And so when we talk about like VR sometimes on this show, and when we talk about the scary future where we all live in a world that is completely constructed and we live through our headsets, the reality is we're not going to get there as fast as we think we are. It will take a middle step, and AR is probably going to be that middle step when we think about it right now. So one of the things that I was tweeting about earlier this week, and I found a couple different examples of, is some cool stuff that's happening right now with AR and styles of AR and ways to sort of ways to take a look at AR that don't necessarily require you to, say, allow someone's Snapchat app to watch you all the time and analyze your data. What program should you use to make AR art? Now that I'm not actually sure. I just wanted to show you guys some of the open source and some of the stuff that's being experimented with right now, because I think that this is a cool, fascinating, awesome way to start visualizing more of what's possible with crypto and blockchain. Marky, yeah, he's got there's an AR sort of camera angle that actually shows different angles for a pool cue. And yeah, Mariano's got, if you're going into a physical gallery and you're actually lifting up a tablet or something with some software, it's looking at this art, it's recognizing this art, and then it's showing you so much more than what's actually physically there. So I wanted to show you guys something that I retweeted, but it's actually doing, it's smoking well. My tweet doesn't fucking matter. But I want to show you something here. And this is really cool. You may have missed it, and I don't care because I ignore me on Twitter and most things on Twitter too. But I want to share this tweet with you. Here is an example of something very cool. Now, this is not an app. This is nothing else. This is a standalone thing that this guy has living in his apartment. He has created a little sort of 3D program, and he's hooked it up to a camera. And so what it looks like on the wall is a piece of art. It looks like a thing full of flowers on the wall. Next to it is a camera, and the camera looks at you, and it says, hey, I know where your face is. So therefore, I know where you're watching from. Now, the other thing that I know is how the human brain and human vision works. So putting that information together, I can take a flat surface, a flat screen, and I can alter the image that I show you using parallax, using perspective, and I can create 3D depth animation imagery that looks and feels completely real to your brain. Knowing how your brain works, knowing how light works, knowing how a flat plane works, and how 3D dynamics work. This, to me, is fascinating. Now, the one that I've dropped in chat, if you're hanging out somewhere else and you don't have the link, you might want to Google something like, if you want to get this exact example, manifold still life with hydrangea. It is literally a flat digital screen on the wall hooked up to a camera. And again, all it is doing is the render is already there. The 3D piece of art is already created. It's already been coded. It exists. The missing piece in this case is a camera, and it doesn't have to be hooked up to the internet. Obviously, we're going to see apps and data collection on this. But let's just say, for right now, could AR show my kitchen is clean? I don't know, Big Tom. That's asking a lot. But yeah, so here you go. Mariano's got some more pictures he's dropping in chat. But to me, this is fascinating. And this is the middle step between full virtual reality and between some of the value that we see in a digital world, starting to really engage and interact with it in a meaningful way. And having that sort of AR adds and doesn't subtract. That's true, but there's nothing to say, Marky, that AR couldn't look at, say, a countertop and recognize that there's one item that doesn't match on a countertop and then, say, recreate a texture similar to the counter next to it and overlay it over something messy on your countertop. Absolutely possible, but again, doesn't much matter. So yeah, here you're starting to see all of these different types of augmented reality. And I happen to agree with Eileen. I think this is post-COVID life. Now, this is always something that we as humans have leaned towards, have reached towards, have been fascinated by the idea of, is how can our technology make the world around us more than it is? How can we learn more, see more, do more, feel more? How does technology connect to that? And we are starting to see really fascinating, interesting ways of engaging with it. Yeah, I mean, there's inertia. You can have a little fucking polygonal Trump just bouncing away, you know, kicking it in your living room. So if you don't believe he's fine, there he is. Look at him go. But I actually found another one that I wanted to show you as well, because I think these, again, are just really great examples of something beautiful and interesting that doesn't need any explanation. We just understand them as inherently cool and engaging. And I think this is the step that we're going to have to take, and something that we'll probably see more and more of in the crypto space. Here's another great example. So this is an actual little hollow box, and it's created with 2 iPads, and it's the exact same thing. There are 2 iPads and a little camera that watches where you are, where your head is in relation to them. And it's as simple as sharing the image across 2 surfaces to make it look, not only is it 3D in one plane, one dimension, as you rotate around this faux box created with a corner created with 2 iPads, there's depth that travels across the surfaces. It's fascinating. It's awesome. It's very cool. Augmented reality, mixed reality, and some of the things that we're starting to see both in crypto voxels, across the cryptosphere with art and other applications, we're starting to see you can walk around inside things. You can interact with things. You can experience things from a completely different perception. And I'll be really fascinated when we start seeing this type of technology cropping up in homes. And of course, the dark side of that we always come back to is, you know, who's running the camera when you are analyzing where someone's face or eyes or head is. Is there somebody who's then using that information for nefarious purposes? I don't know. But let's set that aside for today and instead look at some of this amazing technology and think about how we're probably not far off from seeing this type of thing dominating the cryptosphere. And hopefully, possibly, we're going to start seeing this sort of thing really permeating crypto art and really taking crypto art to the next level. We already know crypto art has been a huge motivator for people, not just to join Hive, but for people to start exploring more crypto in general. It's very exciting. And yeah, it's going to be the same cyber privacy problem as always. You know, what we forget is it's not even a cyber privacy problem, it's a technology problem. You know, before there were even analog style surveillance devices, you know, you were walking down the street and somebody would sit there and record all of everybody going by. I mean, there's always been a threat to your privacy, to your self-sovereignty, to your personal information. And whether it's always looked the same and whether it's always been couched in the same type of technology, it's always existed. We've just always had to adapt to stay in front of it. And that'll never change. That is a primary factor of being human. Now, taking a look at Discord, a lot of people have jumped. I'm hoping it's because they've hopped over to watch the video stream a little bit more. But if you haven't, it's always a good indicator that it's time for me to get my shit together and entertain you a little better. Now, with that being said, we got about half an hour left in the show. I do want to have another quick palate cleanser I've noticed the back of my throat is pretty dry. So I'm going to play a track for you guys. We will come back. We will spend the last half hour of the show openly talking about whatever you want, dancing around with plants or whatever the case may be. But over the course of the show today, we started off, we didn't mean to, but we went down the road of discussing how social media and downvoting and engagement on social media has created a very entitled content creator. And the fact that we see this a lot on Hive, we forget, is dry throat of coronavirus syndrome. Maybe I'm already, I told you, I already gave you the Rona. You came, you hung out here. You saw me in augmented reality. I'm already dead. Yeah, Mariano's saying, I want to make graffiti with augmented reality in the streets. It's going to be epic. And people are doing that. And how fascinating will it be that more people start creating that? What if, things that you put out there, whether they're to do with the cryptosphere or, your values or things that you think are beautiful, what if people start engaging with them differently? It's valuable. It matters. I think it's very exciting, and I think it's a really important step that we will be taking very, very soon. And I say this like it's not already available. It is, but I mean it more that across everyone. VR is becoming more accessible, but it's not the next step. It is still a little bit too far removed, but mixed reality, augmented reality, we're going to your QR code, exactly. Darsico says they already have it at their bus stops. People are using it. And this is going to become saturated so much faster. So much faster. I don't know why this guy's pointing at a peace lily, but it's lovely. I like it. All right, so let me play a quick track. When we come back, we will kind of recap everything that we talked about, and then we'll kind of open her up for whatever we want, and hopefully we can pick a new newbie night. Yeah, the plant. Fair enough. That's like me. That's going to be like me once I get stabbed in the neck or in the nose or in the throat or whatever they're going to do to me. Admittedly, the more I think about it, the scarier it gets. Do you have a QR code for Hive? You could absolutely make one, Mariano. There's a lot of QR code generators out there. You also read that book, 1984, when I was a kid. Are we talking about 1984? No, but also cool. And Alter Carbon, excellent as well. So lots of things to talk about. We'll come back. I'm going to play a quick track, give myself a break, give you a break, and let's move forward from here. So I just played you guys that cassetter track. I played you Laser Punk last week. I'm going to play you guys a Mr. Kitty track. I'm going to play you a track called Circuits Collide. It's Secret Light and Mr. Kitty. Nobody actually cares about these things, but just get your groove on for a minute, come back, and for the last half hour of the show, hopefully we'll have shaken all the sillies out, but maybe not. And if you're watching somewhere that isn't Discord, say something, jump in chat, give me a shout out, let me know that you're still there, because if I can't see you, then I don't talk directly to you, and that's tragic, isn't it? My name is Crimsonclad, this is Cyberbuzz Radio. I'm here every Saturday talking about blockchain, talking mostly about Hive, but also the retro future, disruptive technology. I play a bit of synthwave, we have a lot of fun. You, me, my buddies, my plants, it's all good, man. right. So somebody, not naming any names, Mariano, was asking during the break about my friendship plant. Hey, welcome to the show. My name is Crimsonclad. This is Cyberbuzz. And on the weekends, for a couple hours, we talk about blockchain, we talk about Hive, we talk about disruptive technology. A bunch of people have jumped in. Hello. It's good to see you. And welcome to the back half, like anus end of the show. We're in the last 15 or so minutes of the show. And many of you guys are watching from all over the place. So big hello to wherever you are. Today, why is Hiveblog not working? Well, Snook, we talked about that for a solid hour, my love. And we will do a quick recap. But let's put it out here just between you and me and the wall and our friends in this weird augmented reality. You only have, but look, see, First has a plant and it's got a name. I can't say that. Molbach Peterson. Is that his name? You have Molbach? That's so exciting. Good for you. Your plant is fucking baller. So I will show you guys my one plant shame, because we fucking just gone right off the rails. We were talking about very useful stuff and interesting technological stuff, and then somebody asked about a plant, and then I spent 20 minutes of the show petting a fucking ficus. So now that we've done that, there's nothing that I can do that's that weird, right? So let me show you my plant shame. This is my friendship plant. He's not looking so great. This is my friendship plant. He's not looking so hot. Let me do a little autofocus on him here. Hang on. There he is. He's you can't tell. You know what? Doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Don't look too close. He's a little floppy. However, the reason that I'm not too concerned yet, you can't tell, and I won't go too far into this. There's new growth. There's all new growth here. So I'm bringing him back. Friendship never dies, motherfuckers. Okay, so plant shame out of the way. All right, so let's see who's freaking out about the dicks and pussies, and I like that they think that that's not that's not a thing. Hey, Winston, good to see you again, and everybody else who's joining in. Listen, today's a disaster. We often talk about dicks and pussies, and half of the middle of today's show was talking about big pussy energy. But let's do a quick rewind and recap. Big Tom has a ficus in his yard that's at least 10 meters tall. Well, I didn't grow my ficus to impress you. I grew mine from a tiny bit of a twig. All of my ficuses came from a stick this big, okay? We're working on it. Growth is valuable. And I have one in my bedroom that's taller than I am. So, are you the only one not hearing Crimmy? Yeah, probably. You might have to exit and come back in. We started the show, and we were okay, it's a jizz-free ficus. We were talking a little bit about why is Hive so bucky? Why is it so bucky? We talked a little bit about the RPC nodes. We talked about hive mind nodes. We talked about why they've been problematic. We talked a little bit, it's blooming. It's beautiful first. We talked a little bit about why there are some problems around this. And we talked about sort of some of the underlying issues, which was, of course, that most of them are being replayed or are in some form of replaying. So Osbit Bank and Dracos and Rs and everything else. A large chunk of the nodes available are being replayed, which means they're not available to process stuff that they need to for your transactions. That's one thing. The other thing we discussed for Hive.blog is there is a Cloudflare issue that's happening right now. And the very sort of brief, whoosh, we could fit everything in today's show timeline example is, if you are getting 502 or gateway errors, if you're having problems with Hive.blog, consider clearing your cache, hard clearing your cache, and deleting your cookies as well. Because there is a cookie that Cloudflare is placing that, when in conjunction with another cookie from Hiveblog, fucks up Hiveblog like a mother. And it's very annoying, and I'm super sorry it's happening. There's quite a bit of work, and people are taking a look at Condenser, but also taking a look at Cloudflare and trying to figure out why it's happening so much right now. So hopefully that'll pass. We talked a little bit about how to remind people, change your nodes, use different signing methods. We talked a little bit about peak and peak lock. So we went through all of that. We spent quite a bit of time discussing how HiveMind works, why resyncing nodes is really important for the upcoming hard fork. And then we moved into what the fuck does a hard fork look like? When does it happen? What does a hard fork date mean? And we discussed a little bit about how October 6th is the soonest date, but not necessarily the exact second that it will happen. We talked about that. And then finally, we moved into, after our large discussion about upvotes and downvotes and legacy social media and Hive, we talked a little bit about entitled content creators, because of course we fucking did. And finally, in the last segment where some of you guys just jumped in, we've been talking at length about AR, augmented reality. We were talking a little bit about how this expansion of the consciousness that we're living in now via technology. First, as he remembers when Windows 3.0 forked to Windows 3.11. I don't. I'm not gonna lie. There's an excellent chance that I may or may not have been like a functional human being at that point. And you know what? The jury's still out on whether or not I am at this exact second either. So, no throwing stones. I'm an old soul, and also I'm a disaster of a human being. So the last segment that you guys, just some of you walked into, was we were talking a little bit about the crypto space is really jumping on VR, but also AR. And AR is something that we're already seeing permeating the normies, right? We know Pokemon Go and Snapchat and whatever else. We know AR is already a thing. Part of it is because we love phones and we love tablets. Part of it is because there's still one foot here in our reality, and it's a little easier to invite that into your lives. The idea of stepping fully into someone else's digital world is also it's a little scary. But AR is something that absolutely is pushing people forwards. And I'm very excited to see crypto using, well, we don't all love phones and tablets. You know what? Snook! Everybody's pedantic today. And somebody said I was using it like toilet paper because, I like to sprinkle big words in here. But no, pedantic stuff aside, not everybody loves this stuff. And you know what? We often talk about that on this show too, about how terrifying some of this technology is. It's a valid point. I was mentioning earlier, in about an hour, I have to go let somebody stick a fucking swab up my nose because I got to get a COVID test. I am not willing to submit to contact tracing. I don't ever turn the location on my phone on. Does that protect me? No, because they can still triangulate me through cell towers. But at the same time, I'm not feeding satellite locational data through apps. Things like that. So totally fair. I totally get it. But at the same time, there is fascinating possibility here. There is exciting times ahead. And in my mind, especially, I can see crypto and AR together, moving through the art space, moving through everything else, really getting people more excited about the possibilities. Hi, Zaria! You're here for like the last 13 minutes of the show. My cubby just had a COVID test. It hurts. Why? Why are you telling me? God, oh, come on. Don't tell me this now. The whole show, we've been joking that if I take enough shots, I'm going to a fight. No, it's fine, Zaria. Nobody's ever required to come to my shows. And in fact, I'm often shocked that many of you come and stay. When I see the stats from like YouTube and Twitch, I'm always like, wow, what kind of drugs are you guys on? They must be amazing. I also want some. But so yeah, the idea is I'm taking a bunch of... Anti-socialist is saying this swab might have COVID before it goes in my nose. What is wrong with you people? I'm just imagining this ham-fisted retard. I'm going to drive... I don't think I can say that anymore. It's not PC. I'm going to drive my car up and some lady is going to like rummage around in my nose and then say, open your mouth, and just it right into my own... Oh, fuck. Oh. I had to put my head between my knees. Okay. I just don't want to think about it, all right? I mean, there are so few ways that I was going to say there are so few ways that I prefer to be penetrated. You know what? Let's abandon this. There are so few minutes left in the show. Let's try and roll ourselves back around. Snook is testing. Why is Snook testing? Oh, it lasts 9 seconds. He did a drive-by test. Got it. Just tell me it's going to be okay. It lasts 9 seconds? They're going to have shit in my face for 9 seconds? This is the worst. This day is the worst. Anyways, I'm not going to have a tracing app. I'm sure it will be fine. I probably don't have COVID, and I'm not super concerned about it. I just imagine that something will go wrong. My car will roll forward a bit. You know, this person will sneeze and jab a fucking Q-tip through my soft palate. I like to be prepared for all the possibilities. Having an overactive imagination is good for that. It's also bad. And we discussed this on Full Force Radio last week. I discussed about how the more time I spent thinking about aliens, the more my imagination made them absolutely terrifying in every way, shape, or form. And actually completely shaped the development of my life and my love of sci-fi even. Mariano! Anyways, so that's that. We have come to the last little bit of the show. Ron is saying, I will have an enjoyable penetration. I like to think so. They'll probably enjoy it more than me, but I'm used to that. So let's just say we got about 10 minutes left in the show. Yeah, I might get the spit test. I might get to hawk a loogie on someone. Threaten me with a Q-tip and I'll spit on you instead. So in the Radio Karen finds old people from her tower. That sounds exciting. Cool. Go Karen. Which is probably not a thing Karens are hearing a lot right now. So long story short, is there anything else in the last brief bit of time that we have in today's show that you guys want to talk about? If you've been watching the video, man, today has probably been a pretty fun one for you. If you've been watching the video on the overlay, we've moved to a high definition camera. There's been a lot of weird gesticulating. I speed bagged the fuck out of my mic. I pet a ficus. It's, today looking back was not a good show. Pour spray booze on them and run off. Yeah, exactly. Can you do that? Can you just be like, pocket sand, sha-sha, and then just drive away before they give you the test? Yeah. So anyways, listen, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be a great show. Best show yet. Yeah. Okay. So I feel like that says a lot more about you than it does about me. And that's fine. I'm going to have a drink. And if there's anything else, you have any questions, comments, stuff you want to talk about, tips for me, like, hey, you'd be a better streamer if you got, you'd be a better streamer if you got an AR filter that allowed us to put a paper bag on your head. Hope you get your witness node updated okay before the 6th. Is that a slow jab there, Solo? It's a backup. We have a backup running right now. So we're going to switch over. We're not going to do our main node and signal too early. We've got it on a backup just because I have learned that if you don't get it set up on the backup first, and then when you flip your main one over and you don't have a backup that's already replayed and ready to go, bad times. So, yeah. You can still have adult things after the test. The way that you put the pause in there, Snook, it was kind of like you were suggesting that I could still have adult things that go up my nose. And I didn't think of cocaine at first. I just thought perhaps maybe I should just overlook the fact that I thought you were just discussing that I should put a penis up my nose. And I thought I'd gracefully pass on it. And then after I read that, I realized, oh no, you're talking about cocaine. Haha, drugs. First is learning about your audience lets you recreate more high quality entertaining content. Yes. And here's the thing. First, I never advertise the show. I don't tell anyone about it. And I've just recently started finishing upgrading my cameras, and I've been prepping my YouTube and my Twitch stream, and I'm going to try and grow them and pull more people into the Hive side of things. I just don't market. And Solo hopefully is going to put up with me. We're going to do some work together. And, it's just everything's coming into place. But also the hard fork has to do the hard forky thing. Really, you did mean intercourse. Okay, but the test goes in my nose. So if you meant intercourse, you actually were discussing about someone having intercourse with my nostril. And now I have questions. What kind of test did they give your husband? What's going on? What are these? You can breathe. Oh, yeah, breathing is important. Got it. Okay. All right. Yeah. Sure. I'm on the same page as you. We're 100%. We got this. Let me just take another. Okay. So we are coming down to the very final moments of the show. Thanks for hanging out with me today. We got about like six-ish minutes left. Please remember, I did drink. Please remember that I am here Thursday nights for Full Force Radio, which is way more inappropriate than this, which is saying something. We actually spent almost an hour on Thursday discussing what we would do with the 12-foot tall skeleton from Home Depot. That was enjoyable. Keep an eye out for some posts related to Full Force Radio and Halloween. I'm excited for that. But otherwise, I'm here on the weekend. I am available to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. And if you have someone or something around Hive that needs a signal boost or wants to discuss what they're working on, send them my way. If you have questions or comments or, of course, tips on how to improve, go ahead and send them to me in DM. I read all of them. Some of them are bullshit. I crumple them up and I throw them in the, just chuck it straight in the fuck it bucket. But I do read them. I get a lot of them. Many of them I say, absolutely not. Are you taking an Uber to the test? No, I am not. I'll be driving myself. Thank you. I have a coffee just in case. But for next week, I am going to do a little more research around the gaming thing. I'd like to try and get some off-chain developers and some of our developers in our ecosystem and people who play games. And I want to bring you together and I want to have a big drunken chat. I also want to plan another newbie night, which is very exciting. And of course, I want to play you guys some more cool music because I got so much music this week with Bandcamp Friday. That's something else that maybe we can discuss. I don't know if you guys take advantage of Bandcamp Friday, but as Hivers, as blockchain and crypto enthusiasts, one of the biggest, most awesome things that we want to support and explore here is is transferring value person to person, is supporting someone else or transacting in a commerce kind of relationship without a middleman. Bandcamp Fridays is Bandcamp passes 100% of profits onto the artists. Well, one of these days, we're going to have to start showing people that crypto and Hive in general can do that. You can do that. Forget trusting Bandcamp one day a month. Why not every day? Let's start fostering this everywhere. So there's lots to go on, lots to talk about. Aggroed is on next. I could see him waiting in the live on air. To those of you who I can't see because you're watching on Twitch or on YouTube, where I've actually muzzled you because I'm a terrible DJ and I broke my own chat, thanks for hanging out. If you want to find more about the shows, please go to mspwaves.com. Like I said, Badlax is our newest DJ. We have a full roster today on Saturdays. Lots of cool stuff. Aggie After Me. Clay is on tonight for Coffee and Philosophy. And there's just a lot more exciting stuff. If you want to be a DJ, you could do it. It's fun. It's weird. It's exciting. So let us know if you need anything. Newbie night. I was originally going to aim. Oh yeah, Bonehead. I forgot Bonehead. I'm so sorry. Last time on Bandcamp. Bonehead is on as well. I always forgot that he switched into the evenings. So Loud and Proud is on. Lots of good stuff. Newbie night, I was originally going to do the day after the hard fork. I suspect, A, that's not enough time to tell everyone about it, and B, I'll be a fucking basket case. So let's tentatively say the 13th. Let's tentatively say the 13th. And I will do, yes, big announcement, huge announcement, the announciest of announcements, Inertia. But with that, keeping an eye on the time. I don't want to get cut off, guys. I'm right at the end of the show. Thanks for hanging today. It was a good one. I would love to hear more about your thoughts, especially on the entitled content creator nonsense. And Snook, someday you got to come back. Snook, someday you promised you'd drink on air with me. We would have a drinking show. So anytime you want to take me up on that, let's turn it into a thing. Otherwise, stick around, stay tuned. Lots more entertainment here on the show. I'm gonna drink a lot of coffee, sober up. Please wish me good juju, good vibes. I'd prefer to not have COVID. I obviously don't have it in a way that's going to impact me, but I also just don't want it. I don't want to be that guy that got it and then maybe gave it to other people. I'm watching the clock, Ron. Shush. I'm talking. Look at this. Ron is backseat DJing me. He's a good station manager. But I don't want to be that guy. I was saying this to my boss yesterday when I called her. I was like, dude, I don't want to be the one that fucking shuts down our office. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the one that brings the plague in and our whole office shuts down and then they all have to tell their families and then everybody gets probed nasally. I don't want to put that on me. I don't want it to be me. I don't want to be patient zero. Anyways, listen. It's the end of the show. Thanks for hanging out with me. My name is Crimsonclad. I'm a crazy lady here in the pond. I am a community member all around Hive. I am currently one of your very lowly ranked consensus witnesses, but still consensus. And I'm all done. If you want to see more of me, you can come out on Thursdays for Full Force Radio. Otherwise, I'll see you next week for more Cyberbuzz. Bye.